Welcome to the HerStory Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the HerStory Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I bring you greetings from Charlotte, North Carolina. My name is Michelle Harris, Dr. Michelle Harris. And when you see me, you see the space. You know, people a lot of times look successful, but I was also that woman who was on the floor in her bedroom and she was needing prayer and help, even though I was the one who was praying and helping others. Just to go back and tell you a little bit about my story. I just remember back in 2020, I was dealing with a lot of financial issues. I was $40,000 in debt. And it was not because of, me doing all this extra spending or doing all these things. It was because I wanted to be in this relationship. And I thought that I was doing some things business-wise and made some very, very poor business choices. I was also at a place of transition. I have been doing therapy by this time for about 20 plus years. And I knew that there was a place that I needed to be going through that was different. So I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with, at the time, also, car has been totaled. And also in a relationship that was at a place that was very toxic, unhealthy, and it was crumbling to pieces. So that particular day, I remember I had just finished a session and I was talking to my sister on the phone. And even though that I was in session and I'm helping people, my mind is somewhere else of thinking about my own things that I'm dealing with. I realized that the passion that I had, I didn't have it anymore. I was thinking about, even though I'm serving in ministry, because, I'm serving in ministry, I'm doing all these things and I'm feeling at a place where I'm empty. And I am still trying to push forward. I'm still trying to push through. And I didn't realize that I was ignoring my own signs. I was able to help so many other people, but I was ignoring a lot of things within myself. And so when I got finished on that call and I logged off, because during that time, things were beginning to start shutting down due to COVID. And that was the time where therapy started picking up. So when I got off and I started thinking about things and I started thinking about reflecting over my life or where I was, and I knew that things needed to shift, but I did not know where to go. Dealing with trying to figure out what I'm going to do in this next relationship financially. It was just so many things at one time that I felt like was just coming over me. And I remember talking with my sister on the phone and she said, well, you need to get on your knees and you need to pray. And I'm like, hey, nobody's thinking about praying. I am at a place and that's what you tell me. And so as I was sitting there, I was in my office and I'm sitting there and I was playing music in the background because I'm a worshiper. I love music, is therapy for me many times. And as I was sitting there and I was listening, I started reflecting on so many things that were running through my mind. And I realized that I had become angry with myself because I felt like I should have known better with some decisions that I made. I was angry because I was in this place and in this relationship that I knew that was not good for me. And I did not know fully how to get out because I'm trying to love somebody that clearly did not care for me. They were in that place where they have moved, trying to move on in this teeter-totter back and forth, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be. And then I'm at a place career-wise that I know there needs to be a shift. And I know that also all these things are playing in my mind. And that was the moment that I hit the floor in tears because I was broken. I realized that I tried to push further than what I needed to. I felt like that even though I was helping other people, I felt like I had nothing else left to give. And I felt so alone. And as that song began to play, and I never forget, it was this song by HerStory, and it was saying, "He always provides." When they started singing that song, and I was on the floor in tears, that song began to go through my mind. He will always provide. And when they started saying, even in the wilderness and even in a desert, that you will always come through and do what you do, I was like, God, I am in a place and I don't know where to go. I have tried everything that I know how to do. And if you are who you say you are, I need for you to make a way because there is no peace anymore in my life. I have given all that I could give. And I felt like I have taken all that I could take. I'm at a place that I don't even care. I'm helping people, but I don't even care if I'm living anymore. I'm at a place where I'm constantly giving to people, but I feel like I have nothing else left to give. And yet people continually telling me to push, and people are seeing these things and that I'm going day to day, and they don't understand that I'm dealing with this invisible. And so when I started thinking on all of those things, and I just yelled out, God, I am so angry. I am angry. And that was the first time I was able to truly release how I felt, because it was so much built up inside. I always talk about it. I always tell my clients, you need to take out the trash. And I talk about the trash, all these things in here, you need to just release. But I didn't realize that I have been holding in so much. I had been trying to continually push through life. And I knew that I had to start making a change. So as I began to start looking at that, the first thing I started noticing is that, dealing with this thing, Michelle, first of all, you're dealing with burnout. And you also dealing with lack of boundaries. Those were the first two things when I began to go into prayer and really start seeking and looking at that woman in the mirror, right? That there is something with you that needs to shift. And so I had to start doing the work. I had to start setting boundaries. I had to start being real that me doing therapy for so long no longer worked because I was at a place of burnout. So I had to start making a shift. I had to start getting innovative on different things on how I can still help people. But I knew that there were a lot of people that were like me, that are the go-getters, that are the go-to people, that are the strong ones that often come with a cost. Because when you have a lot of times people that depend on you, you begin to start feeling guilt. You begin to start feeling like you have to continually go on forward. You begin to start feeling as though that if I don't do this, then what will happen? You start holding yourself and carrying things that you don't need to carry. So I had to start releasing some things and people to prayer. I had to start developing relationships and release that toxic relationship and allow myself to grieve through it. and know that, okay, you are worthy of this, knowing my worth. So setting that boundary for success was the first main thing that I realized that I had to do. And that's when God began to start shifting my life and how I was still able to help people in different ways through resources, through retreat events, as I started doing the pajama day party as well. So it was so helpful that I was able to start transitioning that way.
Michelle, you went through so much in your personal journey. Yes. But what fascinates me is that your story is so common for most women. Mm-hmm. A lot of women push until they get to an extreme where it's almost like you're on the edge of a cliff and you can't pull yourself back.
Yes. Yes.
So you've said that success once felt like safety. Mm-hmm. When did you realize that it wasn't?
I started realizing when, because many times people will say, that when you start making the money, you start having all these things. But when you don't have that peace within you, when you don't truly have that knowing of who you are, you begin to start looking at these outer things that I would say is like a drug. Like you'll have this thing that will give you that satisfaction for that moment, but it does not give you that lasting peace. So that's when I started realizing that, okay, you have the doctoral degree, you're a minister, you're ministering to all these people, but yet you don't really have any peace. And you're seeing all these other people that are benefiting off of the gift that you're giving them. But what is it that you're doing for you? And that's when I had to realize that something had to start shifting for me.
So why are strong women often the last to ask for help, especially faith-driven women?
I think especially with us, we are naturally nurturers. Mm. And many times people, it's a thing of we have to have the faith to make it. We are taught to continually go on forward. And many times it is a stigma that if I do admit my weakness, that you must be a weak person of faith. You don't have any faith because you're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to always stand up. You're always supposed to fight. But they also don't realize there has to be moments of rest as well. And so we're taught that. Those are the things that we're taught to continually go on, to continually push forward.
Capacity, and why do women struggle to name it?
I think sometimes because when I think about capacity fatigue, that we don't really, like, I even think with myself, for example, we'll say, okay, well, I do feel tired today, but I'm going to continue to just go on forward. Or I do feel my body's like this, or I know that this right here, I'm dealing this and it's helping me emotionally, but we just continually just move on forward. It's a thing of that we know that is here, but we're taught to just keep on moving. I even talked with my mom one time. I was like, why is it that, I grew up from some strong women, that was in my heritage. You go on, you fight, you have to continually push on forward. Rarely did show emotions at all. You may see cry every once in a while, but I grew up some tough women. And so if you show that weak side, it's like, oh gosh, what in the world is going on? So we're taught to put on this mask to be strong and not show that vulnerability, because we are the builders. We are supposed to be independent. But there is that part of us that we have to recognize, that we have to take care of our inner self.
My last question was, how does the body communicate what the mind tries to override?
Your body will tell you whenever you come in, and I can just, think of, many people, whenever you come in and your body, either it may be anxious, right? Your nervous system is constantly jumping. You feel like you're on the edge. Or you're feeling like, oh my gosh, my body is just tired for no reason. We don't realize that our bodies will let us know. When they talk about the body keeps the score, it lets us know, okay, I'm tired. I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed, and I need to be able to rest. And many times we'll try to just keep on going until our body, because I tell people all the time, either you going to go ahead and do it willingly, or your body, your mind, and your spirit is going to shut you down and let you know it's time to rest.
Yeah, and then the thing is, we end up burning out to a point where you find yourself lying in a rice field. Like I ended up collapsing in Bali.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we really have to listen to our bodies when they're communicating to us.
Yes.
So why is rest so difficult for women praised for resilience?
I think it's so difficult for us because we are taught to just go and to be able to take care of the family, and we are taught to manage, because we are good managers of a household, career, family, ministry, so many responsibilities that we are able to navigate. And so many times we have a power that men aren't able to handle. We're able to have the nurturing and also able to delegate. We're able to problem solve. So we are taught to just get up, just do what we need to do, because we have people that are depending upon us. And we feel that responsibility and that care. So it's hard for us sometimes to say, okay, I need to make sure that I take care of me, because many times it's hard for us. We will tell one another, take that vacation. You need to take that break. But it's hard for us to take our own advice. We'll be the best advice givers, the best counselors, but us really taking in what we give daily is very hard, because we feel like, okay, well, I can just go ahead and just handle this a little bit here, or I received this text message, let me go ahead and respond right now, or I gotta cook, I have to do all of these things. So we have so much on the to-do list of what we need to do, but do we ever place ourselves on the list for self-care?
You're the last one on the list. That is so
Yes,
true.
yes.
So how do unspoken expectations show up emotionally and physically?
Oh gosh, the unspoken expectations can show up in so many ways, wherein you will take on more responsibilities than what you need to, because we feel like we need to do it. And I remember one time I was talking with a young lady, and she was like, I just want to take a vacation. I said, well, if they really didn't need you, how would you really feel? Because sometimes us as women, we are defined by what we do and not who we are. We look at the role as who we are as mothers, wives, that awesome career woman, me as this counselor. But if all of those things are stripped away, then who are we? We often get lost in the roles as opposed to truly who we are as women. And so we get caught up in that emotional thing of guilt. Guilt is one of the major things sometimes of, I can do this. So if I really do say no, then what would really happen? We get caught up in people pleasing. We don't want to let anyone down. So we got to show up this time. What will happen if I don't show up? That people pleasing will get you in a world of trouble of committing and overcommitting to things that you know that you should not be doing, but you're doing anyway. Or you know you don't have the capacity to do it, but you're going to stretch yourself because of that.
So what role does faith play in either healing or hiding burnout?
Faith is one of those things that helped me to truly get through the guilt. It helped me to get through the shame, right? Because many times, you feel that shame of, I should, because the thing is, we get caught up on many things that we see in social media. We get caught up in the things. I always say sometimes, whenever people go out, we in a masquerade ball, because we know how to show up when it's needed to be. We know how to put on a masquerade mask, to smile, to navigate. Because it was many times I was doing that, but getting in my car crying just getting in this house and able to shut the door. And I'm like, I am so broken. So, we know how to put on those masks. So faith is something that is very important on learning discerning and having the wisdom on what is it that I really need to be focusing on in this season. And just because I'm capable of doing it does not mean that I'm supposed to do it.
That's true.
And so you want to be able to not just be busy just doing, but you want to be intentional with your acts and what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So having that faith to discern, having that faith to know who you are and where you need to be in this season is key. Because if we get caught up on everyone else defining us as opposed to walking in faith of what it is that God has for us in the season, then we'll be pulled in so many areas and distractions that we're not able to really focus on purpose. Yeah. And that's what we're supposed to be in purpose.
So what gentle, shame-free practices can women begin today?
I would just say one thing that you can start thinking about is what is one thing that you can say no to today? Because that one thing that you can say no to today can be something that is a yes to your purpose. And many times people think they have to start out really big, like they have to do this major overhaul. And I would just say this thing has been a continual work in process of setting those boundaries. So when you begin to start saying, no, I can't do that today, and not trying to give an excuse for it, right? Because I would tell people all the time, you're going to have these moments where you're going to feel guilt. You're going to have these moments where you're going to grieve because you're going into the next season. But what is that one thing that you can say no to today? That may be saying, okay, no, I am not going to cook today. I'm just going to order food out, and I'm going to let everyone do what they're going to do, and I'm going to work on this thing today. No, I'm not going to respond to this text message right now. I'm going to take just 15 minutes to focus and to relax. What is that one simple thing, and start building upon that?
Yeah. It's very difficult to say no, but that is a very good thing to learn how to do that.
Yes.
So let's talk about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
How do boundaries challenge identity for high achieving women?
Oh gosh, boundaries are very much of a challenge for high achieving women because we know how to go out and make it happen. We know how to multitask. We know how to handle so many deadlines. We know how to have the checklist out, and we know how to make it happen and get it done. Even people who are procrastinators, you might be doing a thing on the last minute, but we know how to make it happen. We know how to make it work. So being intentional about your day is one of those things that is key. And many times high achieving women put so much on their plate. I think about sometimes whenever we're eating food and, and we think about holiday season here and, in the US, we have Thanksgiving and Christmas, this holiday that's coming up, and people pack that food down on their plate. And then you begin to start eating, you're like, my stomach is not even able to take all this in. So this is what we have to start thinking about as high achieving women. What is it that we are allowing on our plate so much that we take in and we say, okay, I'll do this. I got this. I take this. And then we have a hard time asking for help because we are independent women. So we're going to take care of all these things. And so now we're overwhelmed. Now we are really burned out. Now we're overstressed because we've taken in more things as opposed to allowing ourselves to delegate, allowing us to be able to have. And then the thing is not only to ask for help, but to receive it.
Yeah, that is so true. And it's all on us. You can't look at anyone else.
Yes.
So what does coming home to yourself truly mean?
It's just really looking at you and getting down to the real work. When I went through that process, I had to uproot a lot of things from childhood things that I was taught as a child. Because, people, when they think about burnout, many times people think about just going on vacation, you'll be fine. No, when you start really doing that work, you have to start really dealing. I had to start uprooting some things that I thought, even in faith, to just continually keep going and to just pray and just keep on moving and all these things. I had to start uprooting some of those beliefs that society even pushes on us. This is what success looks like. So I had to start doing that uprooting. And once I began to start uprooting all of that, that's when I was able to start doing the healing over time. Because the thing about it is, whenever you begin to start releasing a thing, you have to start replacing it with something positive. Whenever you begin to release those negative thoughts, you have to continually put some positive thoughts in your mind. So I had to start doing that retraining. When it talks about Romans 12:2, it has to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that means that I became transformed, but the renewal continually happens. So that is what was key.
I love that. Now, we're going to finish our podcast with a bit of a thought experiment.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions, one going back and the other one going forwards in time.
Okay.
So if I could teleport you back to the younger you, that young woman who went out into the world, crashed and burnt. If you could go back and give her 3 nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those 3 nuggets of wisdom be?
The first thing, or 3 nuggets of wisdom that I would say is to, number 1, love all of you, flaws and all. Love everything about you, because many times what people think is their weakness is actually a strength for you, that you're supposed to embrace all of you because you were created as this special image and embrace it. Number 2, that it is okay to be you. You don't have to define yourself by anyone else. You're going to have to walk your journey that's going to be different. So walk it out. And the next thing that I would say is take it one day, sometimes 1 second at a time. Whenever you are growing in life, there'll be some things you will have to release. That will be tears. It will not always be smiles and all those things or whatever, but you will make it. You're going to make it through. So just take it one step, sometimes 1 second at a time, because it will turn for you.
Absolutely love that.
Yes.
Now, if I teleport you into the future and we go and sit and have a conversation with a 90-year-old you this time.
Yes.
And sitting in her rocking chair, surrounded by her family, reflecting back on her life, what will you say to this amazing woman when you finally meet her?
Oh my gosh, I am so glad that you chose the path that you knew that God was putting you on. I am so glad that you finally said yes to you as opposed to saying yes to everyone else. I am so glad that you made that choice that you did when you were on that bedroom floor to begin to start shifting your life, because now you were able to see life different. Now you were able to see how you were able to come out of debt, how you were able to impact others, and how you were able to start shifting because you opened up your mouth. You did not allow yourself to sit down, but you walked that journey out. And I am so proud of you. That's what I would say. Yes, I would love it. Love it. Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, is there anything else I should have asked you and I didn't?
I would just say, when people start thinking about those things, I would just leave with 3 points of trying to get to a place of clarity. First thing is to start thinking about how you can just start resetting your life. Connecting with yourself, liberating yourself from distractions that have been trying to get you off focus, and then allow yourself to do that point of getting a refocus where you begin to start accepting yourself for where you are. Innovate, bring out that spazzle dazzle that you have within you, because you bring something so special to the world. That's why you create a difference. So let's go and get it, and then continue growing Do not allow yourself to stop growing. There is something out here for you to do. Ladies, you have work. Everyone has a gift to give, and someone is waiting on you to go do it. So let's go and get it.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I know that you are empowering and supporting women in this space of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Best places for people to find you?
Yes, you can find me on my website, www.drmichelle.faith. You can also find me on Facebook, Dr. Michelle Harris, on Instagram, Dr. Michelle Harris Coaching, and also on LinkedIn as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Harris. It was wonderful having you
Thank
connect
you.
with our community, and especially with the new year coming up, people setting New Year's resolutions of doing things differently. You're
Yes.
going to be an amazing resource for a lot of women out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share these stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So today we had a story of burnout, women pushing themselves to the limit. If you are that woman and you want to change in 2026, reach out, get the help that you need. You don't have to do it alone. Or if you know someone who is on that brink of collapsing from exhaustion, from doing things for everybody else, please share this podcast, post it on your social media, and help us reach more women in 2026. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Michelle, thank you again for the interview.
Thank you. You all have an amazing day.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.